Right, well, here we go then. So, I have here a can of Citadel Colour Wraith Bone, which I've already used to undercoat a bunch of these, which are, as you can see, Griffin Beast, plastic dark ages. The undercoat covers quite nicely. The blast is a bit fierce compared to Army Painter, so you have to spray from a little bit further away, stroke, moderate your spraying pressure a bit. Otherwise, well, it gets a little messy and paint gets everywhere. So, I have here a small collection of these. Nobody should be surprised by. This is Agaros Dunes. Why they couldn't just call it Desert Sand like normal people, I don't know. Now the instructions say shake well, so we're going to use the paint stirrer since it's here, which is a horrible noisy beast, but fundamentally you strap it in for the ride. It does have a little annoying feature where its on-off button can stick sometimes, and also I'm a little concerned that's going to come sliding out the end, so let's reattach that. You can see it's just got a rubber strap that, yes, the screens, a rubber strap that holds the bottle in, so let's just give it a good shake. Have a listen to the happy ambient noise. Sorry about that, but it's not a quiet beast. It will run off batteries, but since I've got several power leads under the desk, see any point in doing anything other than using the supplied power supply. There we go. That should be enough. Let's unhook that. Settle that out of the way. Now I've got my standard palette here, which is in fact a Pringles lid, but just so you can see what colour things actually are, we've got a bit of white paper underneath it, and this is the stuff. Slot a bit out onto the palette. As you can see, it's quite thick and quite heavily pigmented. So let's pop the lid on that. Let's pick up ourselves a figure. Now, this might get quite interesting because I have rubbish eyesight and I want the figure fairly close to me. So hopefully this will end up close to the camera. And I'm just going to slap it on as per instructions. You're not supposed to do anything subtle with this. You literally are just supposed to slart it all over. So there we go. A bit more on the palette. Literally just slanting it on. I'm trying to be a little bit careful because one of the things I have noticed from what other people have said is that it's a little bit difficult to do colours on top of colours because of the inherently translucent nature of the paint. So let's just slap this on as best we can. Catch the arm there as well. That's where we discover I get my head in the picture when I'm not looking, which would be mildly annoying. That's probably about as clever as I want to be on that one. Let's find another guy with leggings on. He'll do, and we'll do his leggings in the same colour. This is my standard batch approach to this kind of thing. Namely, find a few things in the same colour. I haven't quite decided what I'm doing with the woodwork. Yeah, I do have little big man transfers for the shields. This guy's actually got strapping over his feet, so I could have done something with a bit of a darker colour, but never mind. Yeah, I would also draw your attention to the fact that I am a crap painter. This is known. And we'll see if we can find another figure to paint. That'll do for now on that colour. A water pot somewhere. Rinse off the brush. And let's go for, what should we go for? Athelian green, which actually looks more blue. I don't know why I'm shaking that by hand. Let's move the palette out of the way, bring the shaker in. They earn its keep. Again. Happy little shake. Should be enough. Seems to work with the army painter, so I can't see why it shouldn't work with the Citadel stuff. Shunt that back out the way. Let's pull the palette in so you can see what we've got. And carefully pop the lid. This is a slightly turquoisey blue. It looks much more so than it does on the when you look at it from outside. But hey, let's grab a couple of brush loads of that so you can see it. See, it's quite a turquoise blue. Well, yeah, it does claim to be a green, but it's only green if you're my wife, who is blue-green colourblind. I'd say that was a turquoise. Anyway, we'll slap it on this bloke's shirt. Oh, that's a very rich colour. Stunningly rich colour, particularly if you shake it. The problem I have here is there's a part of me thinking, you know, it would have been really smart not to have done the shields, to fix the shields before painting the figure, but never mind. These things are sent to vex and try us. My problem here is, again, being somewhat ham-handed, trying to make sure I don't get paint on his face, because while Woad is a good purple. Woad is a good blue for face. It's not really what I want my Saxons to be painting their faces with, even if it is historical. Right, that bloke I did the shirt on, has he got ordinary trousers? He has. Right, well he can have some Woad-ish. Oh fuck, I don't care, it's Woad. Woadish trousers. Again, we're just going to slap it on. Ignore the fact that I have actually just managed to dribble a bit of the brown onto there. Pick that up off there. Slap it on. I'm really not being very scientific about this, because all the people who seem to have tried it have said subtlety and science go out the window. Just slap it on and let it do. You can already see actually that tan coloured jacket is looking quite good. So we'll do that. Got one more figure which we'll probably pick some different colours for. Wash off the brush, move that out of the way. Let's go for now I got a skeleton bone I like, which is called, no that's not it, that's Nazaragula, don't want that. Skeleton Horde, here we are, Skeleton Horde. Check the lids on and pop it on. Really do check the lids on, because the last thing I want is contrast paint going all over the workbench. No, that's not quite straight. Again with the paint shaker. It's a filthy and horrible device, but it does appear to actually get the paint relatively homogeneous. So this is a skeleton bone equivalent, I hope. That should do. I was talking to a friend who said he was probably going to get these. Hat tip to Dave Sandman if you're around, and decant them into dropper bottles, just because the process I'm about to undergo is a complete pain in the backside, namely decanting. I hate decanting paint with a brush, and to be honest I would far rather do this with a what's the word? Do this with a dropper bottle. Now, I'm expecting this to be a little bit lighter because of what it's meant to be. I'm expecting this to have a little less pigment in it than the desert sand. So this will be, hopefully look a bit more, I think the word is linen-y, if you want to, for want of a better word. Well, actually, it does appear to be. Let's go and shove some paint in there. So this will come out quite pale, I hope, and it's not looking too bad. I am indeed talking to myself here. And a camera, in the hope the camera actually picks up what I'm saying amid all the noise and kerfuffle. Okay, could be worse. What I'm going to do with this while I'm here actually is I'm going to grab the guy with the blue shirt. I'll give him blonde hair using that colour if I can, which going to suffer a bit from the fact that, as I said, I don't see terribly well, and I'm going to have to try and negotiate painting his beard and the like without actually doing his face, because I do have a flesh tone for his face. That'll do. Not brilliant, but hey. Right, and I want another shirt colour for matey boy there, who appears to have. So let's go for the real live authentic genuine supposed to be green colour, which is, I've got two choices actually. I have Militarum green and Dark Angels green. Now green is, oh god, Benny, as a medieval Dark Ages dye stuff. Weld is yellow, Woad is blue, and I can't remember what produces green. It's not Madder because that's red. I'm sure I'll remember just after I finish recording this video. So let's give that a good shake. Check the lids on. You get to listen. A lovely motor on this thing. Alrighty, that'll do. Off you come. Who knows how this is going to work? Let's just pop the lid off. Admire the slightly putrid shade of green and pick up some off the tongue in the lid, which is where all the good paint gathers on Citadel pots. There we go. That might be quite a passable medieval Dark Ages green. So let's pop it on. Again, slop it on fairly liberally. The hell with subtlety. I'm all for paints that do not require me to be subtle, because I am not. Oh, that's come out interesting, if a little thin. It's a nice shade. Paint these arms. Try and avoid getting it too far up his hands. Fat chance of that. Get the brush in around there. Somebody could have said I was slipping off camera. Get the brush in around the jacket, shirt, whatever it is. I mean, it's heck. I noticed this bloke has actually got leggings on over the brown I gave him for his what turns out to be leather strappings or bindings, that's the word. So what I'm going to do very quickly is rinse off the brush, pick up a little bit of that blue and use it to pick out his trews, leggings, whatever they are. I'm going to discover that this doesn't layer very well, but never mind. I don't pretend to be Andy Hawes or Kev Delimore or anybody else of that ilk. So frankly, as long as it works, I don't care. So that is a bit pale, but it's quite a nice looking top. Right, so all of these have got that on, so let us tilt the camera down a bit since it seems to slightly be off angle vis-a-vis where I am holding the brush, so we'll just do that very slightly. Right, somewhere there was that classic Graham's Workshop colour Snakebite Leather, which is pretty much the shade, there we go, pretty much the shade that everybody and his wife uses for leather, because the clue's in the name. Here we have some Snakebite Leather. Check the lids on. That's not quite straight. Check the lids on. Give it a shake. What you can't see, because of the frame rate of the camera, is that it looks like it's just sort of wobbling a little bit, and it's actually being shaken at about the rate you can hear the rattle, rather than the rate you perhaps can see the camera moving. I could do a high-speed slow-mo of it, which would be quite fun. I might do that in a bit. Anyway, here we have Snakebite Leather, which is kind of hard to tell from all the other sort of browny leathery stuff. So who knows? I mean, that's the sand, that's the skeleton bone, which has actually come out paler. I think it's basically got less dye stuff in it fundamentally. So let's have a look see. Yeah, that has actually, it's quite thick, more thickly pigmented than the sand, and it is a subtly different shade. So you do actually notice a difference. And we'll just slap it on. All over the place. I've got a darker brown I'm probably going to use for the hair from that guy, or even the a blonde shade. He's done pretty much. Oh, we'll give him brown feet. I didn't paint the feet previously. Yep, got the right brown. Nobody saw that, did they? Okay, let's see. Done you, although I missed a bit there. Let's grab some more of that Snakebite Leather. Right, observation. If you're not careful when you open these, the bloody stuff goes everywhere. Witness, everywhere. I'm not going to pause the camera, but I am going to wash that off before I get it everywhere. Talk amongst yourselves for a minute. Ha! Right, yes. Another of the many reasons I really do not like Citadel paint pots is that little ill-mannered piece of behaviour on the part of the paint. So that's the Snakebite Leather, matey with the woad. Actually, that's interesting. If you look at that, that's come out a much less turquoisey blue than when I actually put it on. So let's slap some fairly heavy snakebite leather on his leggings and trews. He's got, again, this guy's got trews, so I have to find a colour for those. I didn't order any reds because unfortunately Madder is a Dark Age dye stuff that produces red if memory serves. So for now we'll just slap on some leather on his leggings. What's he got? He's got blue, but he's got sandals at the bottom, so we'll paint those snakebite leather as well. I actually managed not to get the brush in the wrong place on those, which, given my usual ham-fistedness, is a step in the right direction. Step, shoes. Boy, tough audience. I've done his leggings. I think I haven't done his. I've done his as well, and we'll just have a bit more paint on there because they're a bit crap. Right, which leaves me with hair and faces and wood. Okay. Shift the palette out, shift the stirrer in, and somewhere we have some unpronounceable. God knows, you tell me. Grillman flesh. Either way, check the lids on. Stick it in the shaker. I really should do this in super slow because I suspect it'd be great fun. Right, flesh. Again, let's be careful opening this because I've already had more paint everywhere incidents than I want, which is to say one. I do appear to be sort of working in a range of Dark Ages muddy browns at the moment. This is flesh. Move this over to the where the camera can see it. This here is flesh. It does have a slight fleshy tinge to it, I suppose. But let's paint a hand or two. And his face. Not much point, to be honest. We discover that Mike does in fact skive mightily on painting when not necessary. Not much point in painting his inside hand, as it's completely hidden by the shield. But we will paint the outside hands because they're there. And his face. I don't know. We'll see. That's a nice face to paint, actually. It's much more upturned and facing the camera, as it were. Pick up some more flesh. Paint his hand. Again, the hand on the shield is pretty pointless, so let's not bother. Actually, that face has come out really well. It's got some character, which the original sculpt has as well. So, this is the guy I painted the hair on. Ooh, and that suddenly sort of pops into quite interesting and fairly immediate relief, which is quite nice. I really am not taking much care over these, and I don't bloody well care because, frankly, they take as little time as they take, a little as much time as they need, and no more. So, I'm going to use, because that snakebite leather has in fact gone absolutely blooming everywhere. I'm going to use a bit of the. Oh, you can see, look, when you paint that on the paper, it's much pinker than it looks. And if we look at it again with the. Yeah, okay, right. So I'm going to paint the hair, the rest of the hair, on everybody with this colour that we decided it was going to pass as blonde, and I think we're actually going to add a little more, assuming I can do it without getting it everywhere, which is, that's Ergoros Dunes. I could use that. Actually, let's use that. Let's not have everybody have the same hair colour, because this is not uniform Saxon land. But he is, if I do that, going to have the same colour hair as his shirt, which is probably not a good thing. He, however, can have Ergoros Dunes hair. That doesn't actually come out that badly. Yes, I am aware I'm painting in the bottom left-hand corner of the camera. This is partly because that's where I'm sitting, and it's kind of hard to see what I'm doing when you're as blind as I am without. There's actually a wee bit much there. Let's just touch that out. Possibly. Was that the flesh? Yes. Let's dab a bit more of the flesh on, just to make sure his face is flesh coloured. There we go. All right, and I want a little bit more of the desert, the bones, which is not that. Not that, that's yellow. Skeleton Horde, that's what it's called. There's the brush. A little bit more of the Skeleton Horde. Just to do that one guy's hair, because otherwise he has his hair the same colour as his linen jacket, which is not what we want. Right, which means I now need to find a suitably mucky brown for the wood on the spear hafts and the shields, which of course flies in the face of everything I ever say about wood not being brown. Tough. Tiger brown. That looks quite dark. Oh, let's go with that. All right. Last pass then. Off we go. Pull out the shaky beast of doom. Make sure the lid is on. I'm going to get really embarrassed about this sometime. Hit the button. That'll do. Give him a bit of a shake. Pop the lid. And just a space in the middle of the palette for some brown. That's quite thick and darkly pigmented. You wonder, perhaps, if it's some of these are very similar pigments, but in different depths. I don't know. Let's slap some on the shield. That is very dark. But hey, I don't care. Because all I'm doing is painting this, because it's, frankly, this is going to have a little big man shield transfer on the front of it anyway, so really not that fussed. As long as I can actually get all of the shield and none of everything else, I should be happy. And I've missed his trews there. I'll do something with that in a bit. Oh, now, there's the thing. Look how that flesh has dried on the hand. Much paler than I expected. Suck up some spear. I don't have any metallics, so spear points will have to be done later. Although I might either go and get some, as my local model railway shop actually had the contrasts in stock and pretty much unsold when I popped in the other day, long before my order from Element Games arrived. Now that is in fact entirely my own fault. I'm not going to hold it against Element Games. It's purely the fact that I was too careless in my original order, and I had to order something partway down the process because I had forgotten it, because I'm a numbskull. So yeah, they had some in stock this Saturday. These literally arrived today from Element Games. But as I said, I don't care. Oh, actually, you know what? There's enough. There's enough. What's it on reach to actually get in and do that guy's hand. Now I've painted the inside of his shield. Let's do his spear, and I'll remind me to come back to that figure when I'm not painting spears and shields. Again, we're just slapping it on. I could have used one of the paler browns for this with hindsight, but that's it, it doesn't matter. It's only a blooming spear. It's made of wood. It's either got muddy or a particularly dark species of bog oak or something. I don't know. Not part of the story I want or need to tell. It's a piece of wood. It's brown. In the best traditions of these things. Just about not going to run out of that splash of Gorgrunt of fur or whatever it was, Terios brown that I got for this, which is good because I don't want to have to open the pot again because it'll probably all go everywhere like it did last time. Oh, I am not going to get that last one done without. Look, you see, that's a much paler, shade. But I'm not going to get the last shield done without a little more dip into the pot. That's probably a more sensible thickness of paint than the previous, but never mind, eh? Yeah. This reminds me a bit, you know, of the guy who does the Serasto, is it? The guy who does the Star Wars Imperial Assault and other things painting. Gosh, that is a very thick pigment. Was it somebody else? Somebody who did, it wasn't him, it was somebody else, and I'll find out who he is for the notes for this video if I ever actually write any. Did a whole bunch of figures from Dungeon Saga, that's it. And he did a lot of the ghosts and stuff with fundamentally just layers and layers of inks. And this is a not dissimilar process, to be honest. It feels very similar. You're building up. I mean, you could do this with layers and layers and layers of inks, but I think part of the, I won't say charm, but for those of us who are incredibly lazy, part of it is that I can do this in one go without actually caring overly much. Whereas if I was going to do that with this with layers of ink, it would probably take me several. Now, of course, there's probably things you can do with mixing inks and paints, but isn't that kind of what this is? I suppose. I mean, this is fundamentally, it's not quite a wash because it's too thick, and it's not quite a paint because it is translucent. It's some interesting hybrid of the two, I guess. It's quite nice to work with. I mean, it flows reasonably well, and I suspect that the dire warning about shaking it was entirely correct. It does appear to need it. These aren't, as someone said, they are quite heavily pigmented for washes. They're not really washes. They'd be less heavily pigmented if they were washes, for a start. Right, okay, who forgot to remind me I had a hand to go back to? Now, of course, the other problem is remembering which the heck is the flesh paint. It's that one, isn't it? Yep. I've just about got enough, I think, to get that hand done with what's on the brush. So let's work our way in here, like so, and on the back, like so, which is not going to look brilliant because it's already got, but I don't care. Right, I'm going to call those done, and we'll come back to them when they're dry, in however long that is, and see what they look like.